Hello, folks. We are back once again. We check the sound real quick. Check 1, 2. Good deal. We are good to go. It's so great to be seeing you guys here today on the program. I'm going to move some things around so that I know what I'm doing here. And I wanted to talk about today some of my practice routines. Okay, so this is another guitar practice video type of thing, but this is I wanted to do with electric. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera here so that you're not seeing me all the time. You definitely want to see the guitar, obviously, right? There you go. This is my Ibanez AZ 242 BC, I think it is. It's one of the premium lines. Love this thing. Gorgeous Bacote top wood. And I think that's the name I decided to name this guitar. I name all my guitars. This one is BC for Bacote. So that's what I decided now. I wanted to name it like Mocha or something, but I was like, no, that's too obvious because it's a deep espresso burst. But today I wanted to practice some guitar and show you how I've been practicing lately so that you can see what my process is and the resources that I use to enhance my practice and make sure I get the most of my practice, okay? I know with all this, quarantine stuff and everything, we're trying to do the best we can to make the most of a bad situation. One of the best things you can do is actually work on your craft, work on your skills. If you are familiar with NaNoWriMo, that's just around the corner. And right now they're preparing to start that process. This is the month, October is the month where you start prepping to write your novel. NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. And this is going to be a great year for that because most people are stuck indoors, for the most part. But with guitar practice, I just wanted to go over a few things. If you're new here, if you're new to this channel, I release guitar instructional videos once a week, about every Thursday or thereabouts, somewhere around in there. That's my kind of tagline lately. And I have occasional videos on gear demos and reviews, screencasts, live streams like this one, and all kinds of other topics on creativity. If you like this sort of content, please consider subscribing and click the bell below, okay? Click the bell so that you will be notified when I go live on things like this. And so I appreciate it. Your support really helps me deliver the content that's most relevant to you. Helps me kind of see that people are digging what I'm doing. So I just wanted to, throw that out there to you. So thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. I'm going to check the comments real quick. I already have 6. That's amazing. 6 comments. Frank Meister says hello. Jack Smith says hello. I love that Ibanez. Going to feature that one. Thanks so much, Jack. I love this Ibanez too. It's amazing. I've just recently grown even closer to it, so I may explain some of that why. How many frets are on this one? This one has 24 frets. This one is the series that has the humbuckers, so it has 24 frets. And the other series has the single coil humbucker. And it only has 22 frets. It's set up kind of like a Strat is. Okay, Jack Smith, 24. Not sure what that means. It's nice weather here in Arkansas, at least. Yes, it is beautiful weather here outside in Tennessee as well. Thank you guys for tuning in. So great to have people on the broadcast. It is so much. Let me know how you found out about this. Was it my newsletter? Was it Facebook? What is it? Also, let me know, is the sound okay? I think I'm hearing it well. All right, let me know if that sounds good. I'm going to try to turn my knob down today. I've had problems in the past where I forgot about it, and then you hear all this stuff here. Because I accidentally bumped my guitar, and it's louder than my voice. So I'm going to try not to do that today. Let me go to my string here. I want to see what this looks like in the control room because I haven't been in the control room yet on YouTube since they've updated it. By the way, I'm still using, let's see. Well, that's not showing. I have to go through YouTube itself. So I'll just use the stream itself showing what's going on. Let's see here. I'm still using my Swiss picks. Love these things. These things have been really cool. If you need to, have a grip, you just press a little bit harder and it's staying put. Okay. Now I found that I like it a certain way. Okay. Now that is, I like it with this little bitty hole right there. I like that facing me, because naturally my thumb is going to be at the same angle as these holes are. See that angle? My thumb is going to kind of follow that angle. And so it feels better in my hand. If I flip it around, I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just picky, but it doesn't feel as comfortable. So that's what I'm doing when using my Swiss pick. This is the the nuclear cheddar Swiss pick. I also have the sharp cheddar here with me. Definitely check those guys out, man. They got some good picks. Enjoying them. Oh man, I got a lot of comments here from you guys. He answered the question. Okay, thanks, Jack. Newsletter, he found out from the newsletter. Thanks so much for signing up. Random YouTube, Jack, thanks for signing up. Sounds good. Good sound. Noise gate would help that. Yeah. The gate I'm using my 11 rack, and the gate is it's a good gate, but it kind of lets things through more than I would like it to. But I don't really know how to set up a noise gate. I guess that would be kind of like a duck. Whenever my voice is talking, the volume from this would go down. It's kind of hard to set that up. I wouldn't even know the first thing. When you bend a note, here's a question from Frank. When you bend a note, do you typically bend to the root, third, or fifth note of the chord? That's a good question. I guess it depends on where I'm at. So let me see. If I'm going back to that G. So let's say if I wanted to play something in the major sound, not in the minor. There's a bend to the root. Typically, I like to bend to the root, but because of my recent lessons with Marco Sfoli back in March, I've got a different outlook on that. He's one that avoids the root unless if you really want to end the statement. Avoid the root. And so he tries to advocate bending to other notes, and especially the major seventh. He's really keen on that. But I learned this kind of bend from the middle to the first. I learned that from watching Marcus Waller. He does that kind of bend a lot. Now, if I wanted to bend to the third, that's kind of the phrase I would come up with if I've been to the third. I like that when you're descending. Another Marcus Foley kind of phrase. If I was been to the fifth, I find that I rarely bend to the fifth, but I like to bend to the sixth a lot. Okay, so that's the sixth. That's a four. That's the three to the four. So it just depends on what I'm kind of hearing in my head and what the kind of feel that I want to go for. When you're using those chord tones, you're definitely playing a lot more melodic, and it really makes a huge difference in your playing. You can kind of hear that it sounds more soulful, I guess, more emotional. Okay, so I've never heard of that. Avoid the root. I have to play around with that. Jack says yes. I was kind of skeptical at first when I was taking lessons with Marco back in the spring. And he said, once you are landing on the root, you've basically ended your statement. And if you're starting the solo or whatever, and you land on the root a lot, for one thing, it's kind of typical. You kind of expect that. But when you avoid the root, you land on things that you don't expect. And your ears perk up and they're like, oh, that was a surprise. Let's see what else I can hear, And so I thought, man, that's a good idea. So he lands a lot on the major seven. So if he was to play... lands like on the major. This is an arpeggio. Okay, you'll hear that a lot. A lot of those fast licks he does in arpeggios, I've found out by listening that that's a lot of major seven arpeggios. If you look, you realize there's no what? If you look, you realize there is no spoon, and you are the one bending. Oh, Matrix reference. Yes. I heard they were coming out with a fourth one. I can't wait to see that one. That's great. That is the featured comment right there. If you look, you realize there is no spoon, and you are the one bending. Awesome. All right, guys, I'm going to try to start the whole practice thing. We're kind of going off topic here. Thanks so much, though, for giving these comments. I will address some of these at the end, and we will, if you have any questions, I'm going to try to address some of these at the end. But for those that are watching later, after this broadcast is live, I want to go ahead and go into the main meat. I'm going to refer to my show notes here. So let's see here. My current practice routine. Let's go over that. What am I doing right now to practice? Well, for one thing, I'm trying to practice every day. Doesn't always happen. For the most part, it hasn't been happening the last couple of weeks because it isn't that life. Something always seems to happen to get in the way, right? And so you kind of have to be disciplined. You have to find the discipline and the willpower to do it. And most of the time for me, that's in the mornings, about, maybe early afternoon after I've done. Usually my daily routine is I try to get up and read the Bible or do some devotional reading, some different, spiritual books and, business books and things like that. And listen to some podcasts, different things like that. There it goes. After I get done, that's when I usually do my daily work routine. And usually I try to put guitar practice first here lately because that's what I feel I need to be doing is getting better on my instrument so that I can play better and maybe potentially be hired to play on people's projects, potentially be seen as an authority on the guitar. And like for people, like it'd be nice to be sponsored by Ibanez. That'd be awesome, endorsed, and JTC and all those other things. And, you see those people and you kind of get discouraged who are making all this success. And the one thing they all have in common is they know they can play without hesitation. And that takes discipline. That takes practice. And all, the people that are, successful on guitar and everything, they practice. Steve Vai practiced 10 hours a day, things like that when he could. Nick Johnston, he's another amazing one. He practiced so many hours a day. Talking to Marcos Foley, he would practice, 2 or 3 hours a day, maybe even more. And so my current practice routine as it is right now is revolving around two things, okay? And both of those are guitar courses, all right? 2 guitar courses in particular that I purchased. One I purchased about 2 years ago, going on 3 now, I think. And it's lifetime access, and it's amazing. I'll talk about that one last. The other guitar course I purchased probably maybe 2 months ago, I think. I keep looking at the screen instead of you. Sorry. I purchased those about 2 months ago, and it's from a guy named John Bjork. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a Swedish guitarist, and I found him on Instagram. His Instagram is Guitar Techniques. That's his Instagram account, the main one that he does. He also has a John Bjork music one. But that is JONBJORK, John Bjork. All right. Yeah, JONBJORK, John Bjork. He has a course called Nailing the Minor Pentatonic. And out of all his courses, I thought that would be the one that I would want to learn the most because he goes over a fretboard pattern, a way of memorizing the fretboard. And one of the things that I have been obsessed with lately is memorizing the fretboard. I bought Tom Quayle's course on visualizing the fretboard the way he does using intervals. That one for me is a little more advanced and a lot more, I don't know, it just felt like it was too focused on one thing rather than giving me a well-rounded education in that topic. Now, I still like it, and he has a master class that I bought too, and I really like that one. And I'll still refer back to those every now and then just to get a fresh perspective because the more I learn from other courses, the more I can go back and see the courses that I purchased and understand some things I didn't know before. So when I was starting with Nailing the Minor Pentatonic, it just looked like it was more well-rounded. I've visualizing the fretboard I was obsessed with. I asked Marco about it, how he does it. He gave me his ideas. Mostly it was ear training thing. And I'm pretty good at, using my ear to find notes, but not to the level that Marco was saying. So I didn't exactly comprehend it until I started playing around with this nailing the minor pentatonic. Now, his practice, the way he starts out with, he has exercises, and I'll show you. I'll go to my screen here a little bit and show you what all this entails. And it's massive. It's a 12-week course. And to me, that doesn't scare me a bit, because what else am I going to do in 12 weeks? If I want to get better in guitar, I just need to work on that. And I'm taking my time. I'm not going to say week 1, I'm going to do this, and then next week, week 2, I'm going to start the next week's modules and the next week's module. No, for me, it's taking about 2 to 3 weeks per week. Okay. So instead of 12 weeks, I might get it done in 36 or 28 or whatever, because I'm being patient with it. And that's one of the keys to practice, is you have to be patient. Okay. Don't rush things. Don't try to play super fast. Don't be Yngwie Malmsteen on your first day of practice. Okay. Take it slow and really absorb what you're doing. You want to be able to comprehend, not just play. You want to be able to understand what you're playing. So with this, it's all about the minor pentatonic. Okay. The great thing about the pentatonic scale that I hadn't realized when I was first starting out is that scale uses most of the notes in major scale, all kinds of minor scales, because it has, all the notes that are included in there, and all you have to do is just add 1 or 2 more. So when you see that skeleton, which is the pentatonic scale, you see that skeleton there, then you can build on it 1 or 2 more notes later on. Because of that, you've got a firm foundation there. So, for example, let me just show you one of the things he does, one of the exercises that he does. Okay, and this is one of the things that I do. Each week gives you new exercises. And so I'm trying to memorize those exercises so I don't have to keep referring back to them. That way, what I do a lot is I go into my living room, and while my wife is, let's say, she loves house shows. So she'll watch a house show, and I'll be there practicing my guitar, or I'll watch one of my favorite shows and I'll practice during the breaks, or I'll just sit there and noodle around trying to practice these exercises. One of those exercises is it's one of the very first week's exercise, I think. It's just starting out on one string and just playing the pentatonic up the neck. Now, that's another thing. Marcos Foley really lit the light bulb for me whenever he told me about playing horizontally. Okay. Now, I've heard this a lot, but you never really, I don't know, it just never really sunk in until he said it. And we're all used to these scale shape, right? We know the pattern 1. We know pattern 2. For me, I don't know it that well. I'm just getting back to where I can do it. So we know all these patterns, but guess what? They're going one direction. They're going vertical. And when you can link something together and play it all across the fretboard, it makes a huge difference. The one thing that really helps me, and I've went over with in several of my courses, I think I may have went over this in Texas Blues Guitar, and I know I went over it in Bluegrass Guitar Essentials, and that is the power of diagonals. Basically, you're playing a scale. And I've just covered from here to here. I've got 10 frets, something like that. But the problem with that is, when I get to this little section, all that is, these are little sections of the major scale. So here's summing box, whatever, another box or position. But the problem with that is I memorize that as a shape. Again, I don't memorize that as, oh man, how do I even put, when you're playing these scales one string at a time versus, here's a cluster of strings and then here's a cluster of strings, you start to see the fretboard laid out a little bit differently. And for me, I see it as kind of like little chunks, little fragments. Okay. So let me just get on the exercise and I'll kind of explain some of this. Here's one of the exercises that John uses in his course, Nailing the Minor Pentatonic. Let me go to the minor pentatonic. Let's start with G. And I think it's supposed to be alternate pitch. Now, I was actually not memorizing the shape. I don't know what these shapes are. Obviously, these are notes. So for example, this one. Well, that's part of. But I'm not going to memorize this one little string of this shape and then memorize this one's box 2 and box 3 and whatever. What I'm doing actually is learning, because of John's techniques here, I'm learning how to do this by ear. I can hear the interval being a wider interval. For example, if I start with this, I know the interval is going to be longer. Shorter, shorter, longer. Shorter. And then I'm back here. So only like 5 positions or so. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're back to where we started. Okay, so I'm not memorizing the shapes. I'm hearing the distance of those intervals. That's really training me to do so. And what's amazing about this course, I've never seen any other course like it. John really knows his stuff. He's composed over like 700 pieces for films and stuff, I think. He's really amazing when it comes to that. But he tears up a guitar. I mean, he does it like cleaner than just about anybody I've ever seen. And that's including Paul Gilbert. He is a very clean player. He uses parts of what's called solfege. And I've heard this before where I taught at Peachtree Learning Center. And basically that is, you've always heard it, you know, if you're familiar with the last, 40 years of the sound of music: do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, a deer, a female deer. Re, something about sun rays or whatever. I forget how it goes. But that's solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And what you're doing is you're associating that word, do, with the root. Not a certain key, but a certain note, the root. Do. I can't go that low, so I have to do that. Do. Okay, so then you associate re, do, re. You get that sound in your head. What you're doing is you're repeating these. Do, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Okay, so back and forth, you're going back and forth with this. And that's when you say that, it's associating your mind and your ear to know what that is, rather than saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, you have, and he explains this better than I can, but basically if you try to go into 13 and 7 and all these multi-syllable words, you can't really sing those. And the point of this is you want to sing what you're playing, because that imprints it in your ear and what you're hearing. Okay, really, really important stuff. And I never really thought about that, and it's really making a difference in my playing. And so, give you another example of a practice exercise he does. Now he does so many of these, tons of them. But here's another one. It's basically, now we're connecting another string to this shape. Go back to G here. Okay, let me go to maybe a cleaner setting on my 11 rack here. A lot of reverb there. Let's take some. That's a lot of reverb. Let's try that. Maybe a little delay. No, we'll just leave it just plain right now. So, for example, we have the shapes now. We're going to 2 strings. And I can't go there. I can do those. Then the next shapes. This is where the shape changes. Now, once again, I didn't memorize that. That's all ear. I've done this enough times that my ear is recognizing it. And now, the logic is, since it looks like this, these 2 right here, then it's going to look like this up here. But these are going to be the same fret. Now I'm back where I started. Okay? And I'm not memorizing shapes once again, but I am realizing that the shapes look different going this way than they do going that way. Okay. Very interesting stuff. He doesn't explain a lot of this stuff, but I'm finding it out on my own. And all the jigsaw puzzle pieces are connecting a lot better. Let's see. There was something else I was going to say about that. Oh, the other thing he does is the whole fretboard memorization system he talks about. It's called triangulating the fretboard. And it's kind of like caged, basically. But it's a little different. And I don't want to go into it because I don't want to be revealing that. That's his course. I don't want to be, overstepping boundaries or anything like that. But basically what you're doing is as you're playing these shapes, you're thinking of these triangulated patterns that he's come up with when you're in that area. So when I'm in this area, I'm thinking of one pattern of the shape. And I'm not memorizing a full scale shape. I'm just memorizing the root notes in that area, okay? And that makes a world of difference because now I'm associating where I'm at on the fingerboard with where my root notes are. So I can always access those if I need to. That all goes along with he's taking the solfege approach, and you're going for the minor pentatonic. Do, me, do, do, fa, do, son, do, ti, do, 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 so, do, fa, do, me, do. You're doing this and singing it, and your ear realizes what pitch your voice needs to be. I am telling you, this will work for vocalists. This will work for just about any instrumentalist. It's definitely worth trying out. It's amazing what I'm learning just by doing this. And when you can translate what you're singing, now I'm getting chill bumps. If you can translate what you're singing and what you're hearing in your head that comes out to what your fingers are doing and where you're at on the fretboard, all bets are off. That's when you can actually do some damage on the guitar and really impress yourself on what you can do. Not that I'm trying to impress other people. I'm trying to impress myself, trying to get better on the guitar for myself. So let me see if there's any other comments here. Nothing yet. Thank you, guys. If you want to leave a comment, I will address those periodically throughout the video. I don't want to, stop the flow of everything. But if you have any questions and everything, I'll definitely address those periodically or definitely at the end of the broadcast, okay? So let me go ahead and put my guitar down just for a second, and I want to show you what the course looks like and what you can expect, okay? I'll show you on his sales page, and then I'll show you what I have on my computer. Now, John's course, I don't know if it's a lifetime access, because what happens is you buy it and then you download all the materials. So it's lifetime access on your computer, right? Now, if I were you, when you download stuff like this, always back it up. Always get an external hard drive or a DVD, something that'll hold all that. I trust DVDs more than I do external hard drives because external hard drives have moving components that can break down. A DVD, I've had DVDs for 10 plus years that still work, okay? So anytime I can back up to a DVD, I do it. The only thing I really back up to hard drives is my computer itself and resources that I need access to quickly so I don't have to keep lugging out DVDs, all right? So let me just take you to my screen over here. Let me find the right tab. I gotta let it load. And let me go ahead. Let me check the sound one more time real quick while we're waiting for that to load. Good deal, good deal. I'm telling you, ever since I've used StreamYard, I haven't went back. If you can see that up there in the top right corner, StreamYard is the way to go for me. I don't like OBS anymore. I've tried some of these other ones. Lightstream is okay, but there's a few bugs in that. And granted, new products will have that. As they go on, it'll sound better and it'll look better and it'll be easier to work out all the bugs. But StreamYard has been good from the get-go, so I really highly endorse their stuff. So let's go back to the page here. Reload. Take me a swig of tea here. Let me just close the tab and reopen it. Maybe that's what's got to happen. I'm trying to go for the whole blue look. As you can see in my arm here, I've got a blue light right there, and I got my blue light going back there, and I got my blue on. So that's the theme for today. Okay, here we go. Let me just take you to the page of what you'll see when you get there. All right. So I think it's going to be this one. All right, here we go. JohnBorkMusic.com. If you go to guitar lesson packages, Here's the URL. If you go to guitar lesson packages, you'll see all his lessons he has available. Now, I'm not affiliated with this at all. I'm promoting this because it works. Okay, I believe in it. It works. It's working for me. And as long as you take your time, don't rush the process, it will do wonders. Okay, this is kind of more of an advanced thing. So if you're familiar with pentatonics and scales and stuff like that, definitely you want to check it out. If you're a beginner, I don't know. You might be able to find a discount if you subscribe to his newsletter or something. I got mine at a discount. I don't know why I had it as a discount, but I did. So the first one he has, this is his newest one. I think his newest courses will be on the top of the page, Shredding the Pentatonic. But then we go down here, and we have Nailing the Minor Pentatonic, okay? John, I hope you're watching this, buddy. If you are, thanks so much for coming out with such great products. He is endorsed by Solar Guitars, and the Nailing the Minor Pentatonic is 12 weeks, 12 keys, okay? Right now, it's at $49. Like I said, he probably has sales all the time. And I'll show you an option that you can do if you don't want to do this. It may be more in your budget, okay? So Nailing the Minor Pentatonic is a 12-week course. This is the kind of the overview of the pentatonic scale, what it looks like. If you look closely here, I don't know if I can zoom in or not. Can I zoom in? I don't think I can. Well, I can with this. Let's just zoom in a little bit. There we go. And that doesn't help with this because it's mobile. Let me reset that. So this is the do, re, mi solfege system, but the names are different when you're working with minor intervals. Okay, so instead of mi, you have me, do, right? Instead of t, you have te, do, right? So it's a little different. He explains it. He has a whole handout on that solfege system, and he has YouTube videos and links and things like that you can use. So definitely, just look at all the stuff that he gives you, and you'll be able to follow along pretty easily. Okay, so there's that. He has everything he's talking about here are different exercises that you can use. And the good thing about exercises, I usually don't try to do exercises, but the good thing about exercises is with this, it's actually centered around what you're learning. You're learning the pentatonic scale. These are exercises to help you not only learn how to play it in a different way than you've learned before. I guarantee it. You've never learned it like this. Instead of just taking all these boxes here like this, you eventually get to that point. But up until that point, you're learning pieces of those boxes, okay? So it will all make sense. But the exercises are really great because they're showing you how to use the minor pentatonic rather than just going up and down a scale. How many of us have run into that problem? When we get to a scale and we practice it so much up and down, that whenever we play a solo, it sounds like we're playing scales as an exercise. With something like this, when you have exercises, it shows you how to use those notes and how to use the shapes that your fingers fall on to create music and to create good sounding licks and things like that. And I'm going to ask him eventually when I get to that point if this would be the same approach to learning the major scale and the minor scale a little bit better, learning the fretboard that way. Because at this point, all you have to do is add one or two notes and you're there. He hasn't really come out with a major scale, course or anything like that, because I think this one is the foundation for all that. Okay, so let's continue going on here. We have all these exercises. We've got single string patterns. That's the first one I showed you. String groups of 2 through 6. I just showed you the 2 string groups. String skipping, 2 notes per string, 3 notes per string, 4 notes per string. Alternate picking, hybrid picking. There's some of that going on. And I'm kind of weak in that. Economy picking, I'm definitely weak in that. I haven't got to that yet. But each new week introduces something new. Okay, so it's always exciting. It's always informing. And for me, I'm excited to play the guitar now. I don't see it as, a chore or anything like that because I'm always playing the same stuff. No, this opens up the doors. When I play some of his stuff, I'm thinking kind of like him, and I'm beginning to realize what it is he's seeing and what it is, how much more real estate is available on the fretboard. Legato, tapping, haven't got to tapping yet, but we'll get there. Bending, slides, tapping harmonics, all kinds of stuff. No other package that he has is this exhaustive, I guess that's the word. Now, I haven't found anything else that he's got that's this big. Okay, so besides all the technical stuff, we're really going to learn the sound of the scale, working on the solfege. Very important. I found this to be a must when you're learning scales. My way of learning the fretboard through what I call triangulating the fretboard to enable you to visualize and hear the scale like never before. Again, this is kind of like caged, but it's different. All right, it's a little different. It's a little bit bigger stretches in a lot of places and shapes that I've never really noticed before. And a lot of those, he says this later, a lot of them won't make sense at first. There'll be big stretches and you're like, why do I need to know the roots? It's this far apart or whatever. And that's because when you get to 3 note per string pentatonic scales, the stretches are huge and you can see them a lot better when you have those long stretch patterns there. Your level of playing does not matter as long as you're working on something you don't know already. You'll improve a lot. And that's the key, is to try to challenge yourself when you're practicing. Give yourself a challenge, because that will make it more worthwhile for you to be able to practice. We'll start by going through some of the foundational exercises, and I'll keep adding exercises and techniques every week to keep things interesting through all 12 weeks. That he does. Here's an example video. If you want to watch that, once again, here's the link, johnbjorkmusic.com, and then you go to the guitar lesson packages up there at the top. You can see the example video. I'm not going to play that now, but you can see that. And this is kind of the shot you get each time. All the videos kind of look like this. So you can clearly see his hands, what he's doing. He explains it very well and very thoroughly. Okay, and here's just an example of some of the tabs that are included. There's tons of tabs in this course. You can access them through PDF, PNG. There's also scale patterns, boxes that he incorporates. Diagrams is what I'm trying to say. The tabs are also available, like I said, PDF, PNG. They're also available in Guitar Pro 5, 6, and 7, I think. Either 5, 6, and 7 or just 5 and 6, but they will open in Guitar Pro 7. Okay. That way you can actually hear what's going on. You can play it. You can, increase the speed, reduce the speed, play along with it. Big, big game changer there. And then you have a list of all the lessons. This is massive, guys. Okay, so you got week 1, all this stuff. Week 2, week 3, and the reason the other weeks are a little, they're not as expansive, is because week 1 has all the introductory stuff to form the foundation of everything else. Okay, so week 4, week 5, week 6, we get some tapping and some 3-1-3. We get some sequences. I think he might have said sequences up here. Maybe not, but they are definitely in there. There's, in other words, different patterns to go up and down. Groups of, instead of sequences, he calls it groups of 4, groups of 6 times 2. All this stuff may not even make sense, but as you go along, they will. Look at all this. Amazing. Bonus stuff: aggressive pentatonic lick in E minor, a B minor pentatonic and chromatic pick and run, ascending triplets in E minor pentatonic. Okay. So all you do is you go here and you click, I want this. Okay. And I need to go ahead and rate this. I really do. I've done a review. If you'll go to my website, ericbeatty.com/now. Okay. That's my now page. That's what I kind of update to let people know what I'm doing right now in my business and my creativity and things like that. And I've just updated it for fall of this year. So Q3, I guess. I've got a review on this course right now in the fall edition of my now page. Definitely go check that out, ericbeatty.com/now, and you'll see my full review on this course. This also includes his drone pack for practice in all 12 keys. And one of the biggest things he talks about and he advocates is playing these things to a drone of a certain note. So, for example, if you're playing in the key of E, he has like audio files of different, like a cello playing a sustained E the whole time. And you're playing all these, and your ear is relating all these notes as intervals to that root. Okay. Very, very interesting stuff. I think he also mentions in one of his videos in the course that there's an app, but instead of you having to download the app and everything, he just included them here. So you click on I want this, and you go through the payment process and everything, or you can sign up to, I think he's got a newsletter. You may get a deal on that. Or the other thing you can do for John is, once again, notice this little parentheses. This complete course is also a part of my huge Patreon library available here. Okay. So if you go to that link, patreon.com/JohnBjork, you can get all this stuff for, I think his price is, at the time of this recording, I think it's $11 a month. So for what you would spend in 4 months, you can get access to this course and all the other ones. Okay, all this stuff is on his Patreon. All right, definitely an amazing package. Now, me having a Patreon account, it's kind of frustrating to organize everything. So I'm guessing what you would have to do on Patreon is type in "nailing the minor pentatonic," and then everything for that would show up. The reason I bought it as a package is because I just wanted that one course. I didn't want to overwhelm myself with all this other stuff. And then a lot of times what I do is I see a shiny object and I go chase it. And I'm like, squirrel, squirrel, I want to learn this and I want to learn that. This is a structured course by itself, and it will help you learn it by itself. And so I wanted the whole course as the package. So I just bought it flat out, and now I have it on my computer. And I will show you what that looks like. Let me find it here. There it is. Okay. Nailing the minor pentatonic. All right. So let me go back over here. Yes, you can see that. Okay. So we have, this is all the stuff. Okay. These are all folders, and it contains everything. We have the bonus licks that he talked about. There's 3 different ones. I haven't opened them because I haven't got to that point yet. You have week 1, which is massive. Okay. All these exercises. You got your practice tools. Here's your drones. And you probably can't hear this if I played it, but here's a practice drone in A. I'm going to turn the speakers up so you might be able to actually hear it, because I don't think it's picking up my computer audio. Right? It's just a solid A drone the whole way. And you can put it in, I use Audacity, and I tell it to loop. And that's just, you press, I think it's Shift and Spacebar, and it loops the whole way. So I just open it with Audacity and do that. Okay. And so each week is a new key. I think the first week is A, actually. Then you get into E, G, and C. That's the 4 weeks that I'm in right now. I'm in the week 4 right now, which is the key of G. Okay. And so those are the drones. So every time I get a practice session out, I get those drones going, because that's going to help train my ear. And it works, people. Trust me, it works. Week 1, single string exercises. All these exercises on single strings. Okay, the first one I showed you, that's one of the examples, one of the many examples. Triangulating the fretboard. Here's how you go in the key of A. And what he does is he doesn't just go do, mi, fa, sol, te, do. He doesn't just do that. He goes from do to do, from mi to mi, fa to fa, so to so, te to te. And that completely eradicates the need for memorizing shapes, the regular pentatonic shapes, because that will just mess your whole world up when you realize that you have to go to the shapes. You have to go up the scale from a different interval every time. And basically, that's what he's doing. He's going from root to root, minor third to minor third. Once again, minor third isn't easy to sing, so we're using solfege for one syllable words so that we can actually sing along with it. And that's the key. He really reiterates that. He points to that a lot. Sing it as you play it. Don't be embarrassed. Just do it, okay? Trust me, it's worth it. Triangulating the fretboard, all these other exercises, that's just week 1. And here is the solfege and scale degree basics. You read that PDF, and it's there for you, okay? Next, week 2, you got string exercises number 1, 6 string, hybrid picking pattern, and the triangulating fretboard for week 2, which is in C. So each week he gives you a new triangulating pattern to look at. And they're basically the same. They just start in different places because of the root. Week 3, you got all these exercises. Week 4, we got all these exercises. And once again, you'll see multiple names, and that's because there's different things. We have a P and G. We have a Guitar Pro 5, Guitar Pro X, which I think is 6. But it'll open just fine in Guitar Pro, regular Guitar Pro. PDF, you have a zip, and I think the zip is here because it's everything that's already in here. I just haven't deleted it or anything. Okay, PNGs, Guitar Pros, PDFs, all this stuff, okay? So each one of these has multiple exercises inside them. All right, and we even get into the sharp and flat keys, okay? Around week 8, we're going to start learning sharps and flats, which is probably the hardest for most people because we're just typically used to the standard keys. Okay, then you have the course video links. This is where you're going to get all the videos. And this is one, definitely, it will show you all the links to all the videos where you could access them. That's what makes it so easy for this type of course is you're not getting the video files. You're getting the links to the videos so that you can go watch them and they don't clog up your computer, and they don't take days to download because it's such a big file. So that's what we're going with, is he has these links to videos that you can watch later. And I think that's brilliant. I've thought about doing that myself. And then you got the actual course picture here, nailing the minor pentatonic. So you get all the stuff. Okay. Now with Patreon, if you're doing Patreon, you can ask him questions and he will respond about all this stuff. I'm not sure how it works with this, because he says leave a comment below and all that. And you can leave a comment below, but that's for one of his YouTube videos or something. So I don't know how the customer service works on that end if you need to ask him questions. Also, you can find him on Instagram and maybe ask a question there. He's been really responsive and helpful for me if I had any questions, which I haven't really because I understand it. But amazing, amazing course, okay? That is nailing the minor pentatonic. I just wanted to share that with you. Amazing stuff. Now, let's get into maybe a little bit deeper, okay? Let me take a second here to see what's going on. Vincent Garzon says, hey, cool music. Hey, cool music. Thank you, Vincent. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate everybody else tuning in. I hope Jack and Frank Meister are still here. I haven't seen anything from them in a while, but I think that's because they've been watching. So that's what I've been doing in my practice routine, is going through this course, okay? Going through the solfege thing and going through the different string exercises and the do to do and the may to may and the interval to interval. All that's part of doing the same thing every day. Some of that is foundational stuff where you want to do it every day. You want to go and play do to do. You want to sing it. You want to listen to the drone every time. Okay, so those things I do every time. And then I start working on that next week's, that current week's exercises. Week 1 is the foundation. You want to practice that every week. Okay, keep practicing that stuff. But as it goes on, you can add more stuff to it as the weeks go by. They introduce more stuff. And so that's how I do it. The other thing that I've used for, like I said, the last going on 3 years is another course that I really highly recommend. And it's by a guy named Joshua Voiles. I think that's his name. You may have heard of him. You may have seen him. He's been on a few YouTube videos. And this guy can shred, okay? To me, he's not the same level as John Bjork, because John Bjork is kind of like John Petrucci and all these other people. They're up here, and us mere mortals, like me and Joshua, we're down here, so we have to work at it, you know. It seems like John and John Petrucci and John Bjork and Steve Vai and all these other people, they don't really have to work at it that much because they put the work in years ago. With me, I'm having to put the work in now, okay? So I feel like Joshua and me are kind of on the same page. And the one thing I love about Joshua's course, for one thing, it's lifetime access. So you can watch the videos and you can download them. You can download all the materials, all the resources. The brilliant thing about his course is that it's not teaching you any specific thing. Like this is the pentatonic. It's not going to teach you the pentatonic scale. It's not going to teach you the major scale. It's not going to teach you all that stuff. What it does is allow you to extract snippets of your favorite artist's work. For me, the one that I was practicing for the longest was Technical Difficulties by Racer X, Paul Gilbert. I love that song. I always wanted to play it ever since I first heard it, and I've been working on it for years. I'm still not to the point where I'd like to be because squirrel, you know, all this stuff gets my attention. But I was able to do things with his course that I couldn't do on my own for years. I finally reached a certain, when I hit a plateau, I was able to shoot past it, okay? Joshua's course is great for blasting through barriers and blocks in your playing, in your plateaus and things like that. And that's because he has a certain system that works with your psychological, and it works with it goes into psychological things, and it goes into scientific things on how to improve your playing. And it blew my mind when I started learning all this stuff. And also it has a wonderful community on Facebook, okay? So let me look at my show notes and make sure I'm not leaving anything out, because I don't want to, you know, do these guys a disservice by saying all this stuff. Okay, so let me just show you Joshua's course, okay? Like I said, he has some examples. Like, for example, one of the big things is people want to learn the Under a Glass Moon solo. I think that's the one that Joshua actually learned. He plays it on one of his videos, and he's really good, but he works at it. He has to work at it. He's got tendonitis, like I've got carpal tunnel real bad, so he actually helps you understand how to overcome that, because he had wrist injuries for years for playing video games, and that really crippled him. And he was able to bounce back from that. You may have seen him, and he practices with those little slip-on compressor gloves, on his fingers, on his hands. But it's amazing. I feel like I'm rambling here because I've totally lost my train of thought what I was going to say. So let's just jump over to the website and kind of show you what's going on. All right. I'm going to go back to my screen. All right. This is called Guitar Acceleration. All right. Now, I've got a link below. Once again, don't forget, links are below. If you'll look at the description area of the video and then go a little bit past the description area, there's some hands pointing down to show you the next section. That next section will give you links to both of these courses. The link for this course, though, it's not what you're seeing on the page here because that's my logged in page. I'm logged in. You can't really go to my login page. So the link I'm giving you below will actually take you to the place where you can look at for more information on this course and purchase it if you so choose. The wonderful thing about this is, for one thing, it's set up in modules. So every week, it's kind of a drip content. It will give you new content every week, and you don't have to worry about being overwhelmed. And I found that very refreshing because I'm used to going just blazing through things and getting right on into things and not pacing myself and trying to learn it all. And that don't always work. Okay. So he has, what you can see up there on the screen, he has modules. Okay. So the link below that I'm giving you in that little link section will take you to this page, but also if you purchase the course through that link, it will also give you a bonus from me. I've got a free tab pack, one of my most massive tab packs, actually, that you can get access to if you purchase through my link. Now, I am an ambassador for this program. I'm an affiliate, and that's just recently started being a thing on his website. I've been on it for years before he decided to do this program, which means if you purchase it through me, then I get a small commission on that. But I also give you a bonus because of using my link. I want to help you guys any way that I can. And let me tell you, this is like the Encyclopedia Britannica World Book of guitar courses, okay? And the wonderful thing about this is you're not going to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars. It's a very, very affordable price. It's about the same price as a lot of my courses, and I don't charge exorbitant prices either. I charge what I feel it's worth, and this is worth that and more. Trust me. Go to that link below. If you hesitate, if you're worried about it, if you don't know, just go to that link below, watch it for yourself, and see if I'm not right, that this is totally worth it. So you have these different modules. The homepage, it's an introduction. Thanks so much for joining. Here's what you can expect, all that kind of stuff. And I love the way this is laid out, okay? So you have a little remember, you have these other little reminder things, okay? You go down here and you can get all this other, information. You go to module 2 and all these lessons are included, okay? So he goes in depth on how to practice and the best way to practice for the best results. He uses a metronome, but it's not just your standard boring metronome, okay? He has a whole system. He uses a certain app to help you, to give you little sections on each practice session. You're going to go through like 10 different areas of practice, okay? And it's not scales and arpeggios and tapping and all this stuff. No, you're going to learn all these things through the little snippets that you choose from your favorite artist's solos. For example, Under the Last Moon, let's just take a little 8-bar phrase of that and learn that. And what happens is, you start learning whatever techniques happen in that phrase. For example, if it's a lot of speed picking and you want to learn speed picking, for me, technical difficulties. Let's go back to that one. For me, I wanted to learn alternate pick very, very efficiently. And it was technical difficulties because that is the most alternate pick song that I've tastefully done that I have ever heard. And so I would pick out little sections, 4 different sections of this song. And I would take and just practice those. And what happened was I was learning alternate picking, okay? And let's say a month from now, I'd finish that. And what would happen was, okay, I could either still learn alternate picking, but what he advocates is learning from a different artist, okay? So if it was Paul Gilbert this week, it might be Marco Sfoli the next week. Now, Marco has a lot of alternate picking stuff, but he is more on the side of melodic playing, phrasing, and especially arpeggios. And so let's say I wanted to learn how to play arpeggios. So I would go to some of Marcus Foley's songs, pick out the ones I like the most, write them out myself in tab or find other tabs for that, and then I would work on that, okay? And so instead of learning mindless tapping exercises, or not tapping exercises or arpeggio exercises, I was actually learning from the masters themselves, what they did, and learning pieces of actual music, okay? So on these different modules here, you see, you got how to practice. Here's a demo into some deep practice. Very key. One of his biggest things in this course is deep practice. Really going deep and diving deep and zooming in is what he calls it, to what any areas that you're having problems with. He helps you basically dissect your playing so that you can correct your mistakes and get better at them. Okay, think of this as another way. Troy Grady, I think is his name, on Cracking the Code. If you're familiar with that, he goes into the picking mechanics a lot. Well, Joshua goes into the fingering mechanics on a lot of this stuff, and it can be picking as well. But for me, his is way more in depth. Okay, so you have all these in Module 1. Module 2, you have nanosynthesis, and all these terms are kind of over your head at first, right? He explains them, and you get this light bulb moment, like, so that's what that is, or so that's how that works. So that's why I'm running into these problems. That's why I'm having these issues, right? Amazing. Okay, so learn what to practice. Here's your other ideas he goes into, okay? And each one of these modules looks like this one, okay? So the first week is myelogenesis, right? A big deal in this course is myelogenesis. The next week is analysis. So each one of these icons represent the next module. Okay, so if I go to module just 1, just for an example, I'm not going to reveal all this stuff because obviously it's his work. Let me reload the page. Oh, I think I actually have to go to the lesson. Yeah. I can't just click on the link. I go to the lesson and then it shows everything else. Okay, so we start with this video. It's how to practice. We scroll down. Here's a little kind of like transcript overview of it. I didn't realize that I've still got this comment on. Sorry about that, guys. Let me fix that. Comment of the day, Vincent. Sorry about that, everybody. All right, so we have a little overview. Then you have some things to remember. You got some downloads that you can download. And once again, you can either stream it here or you can download all this stuff on your computer. You've got the audio, so it's like a podcast. You can put this on your phone and listen to the whole lesson later as you're going down the road, kind of absorbing this, all right? Really, really good stuff. Videos of the entire module, not just this, but the whole module itself. You can download all the videos, and I've done that just as a backup plan in case the internet's down or something and I can't access the course. I've got the videos printouts. I'll leave them in a zipped, compressed file so they won't take up a lot of space. But I've got all the stuff on my computer. You've got the transcript. You've got these cool little PDFs he gives you. It's really engaging that you can read all this stuff. And you got some recommended books that he recommends and mentions in these videos. Okay, so when you're done with this module and you're done doing those assignments, you can leave some comments here if you want to. I've left comments in the past. Let's see if I can find some of mine. Let me do a find. There he is. 2019. Read my comment real quick. Just started this journey, and I got to say, I believe this will be the game changer for my playing. I know exactly which exercise I'll be practicing this week, too. It eluded me for years. It's the infamous Paul Gilbert super fast descending lick seen here and also played several times in this song, Technical Difficulties. And that's the super fast, and I'll show you that one here in just a minute. This is one lick I find impossible with economy picking. Update. And then 15 minutes later, I found this. The lick happens at 8 seconds. And this is one of Joshua's, okay? So this is one of Joshua's licks. And I found him doing the same lick. It blew my mind. So let me just show you that lick real quick. And then we'll get back to the screen. I'll leave it up here so I don't forget that I'm doing it. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to have to go back to full screen. All right, so that is this. Let me get me the right tone. I'm going to go to my Paul Gilbert tone on my 11 rack, which I call metal spread. It's H1 on okay, so if we're in typical difficulties, and that is basically this lick. Okay. And so that has eluded me for years, right? Everything else, even this kind of stuff is hard too. Then you got this. I can't really alternate pick that. My hand just goes crazy. But that's because I haven't practiced it since I've been doing the course. I've practiced it once and for a good month, and then I've kind of moved on to other things. And so I've left that, and so it's not as good as what it could have been. I actually did this lick on my song Metal Crush in the section where I'm doing a solo with the red guitar and the blue guitar, that one back there, right there. That solo, I do this lick. Obviously, that was sloppy, and because I haven't practiced in a while. One thing I found, my pick just kept getting hung up because at the certain angle that I was doing, it was not crossing over the string like it should have. And so this course, the Joshua's course, Guitar Acceleration, helped me get past that so that when you watch Metal Crush, I'm playing it at full speed, like 120, 130 BPM. No problem. Because I was able to power through that. And I haven't been able to do that in years. I haven't been able to conquer that. And with this course, I was able to. So that's how highly I revere this course. It really, really helps you with that. Okay, so that's one of mine. And then Joshua responded with that. He said, I believe this will be a game changer for you too, Eric. Stoked to have you here. Joshua's a cool guy. He's very good about posting responses and on the Facebook community. He's good about showing up there every now and then. It says, I love that you happened upon my cover shortly after determining it's time to get that riff down. So I think this is his cover, this lick, or this link is his cover of Technical Difficulties. Let's see if it is. I want to go check that out. Yeah, that's him playing Paul Gilbert stuff, Technical Difficulties. Okay, so if you go to that link, you can see it. And I'll leave that up there so you can kind of watch it and then look at it. All right. So that's him playing it. You know, right after I realized that I was going to play it, I found a picture of him playing it. So, but I must say that particular descending lick isn't economy picked, at least not by me. In general, economy picking suits moments where there's an odd amount of notes per string. For example, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, etc. In this case, it's 6 notes per string. So it was an alternate pick, which I already knew that, and but that's fine. The main riff is ripe with the opportunity to economy directional pick, however. And that's a so that's this one. Yeah. Let's see. That's 3 notes. Down, up, down, down, up. And I'm not good at economy picking at all. And maybe what I have to do to get this done is alternate picking. I just can't get it. One thing that happens is I tense up and I get here it comes, you know. And I'm doing that again. Like I said, I haven't practiced this in a while, but that's something that he kind of addresses in his course, is really being aware of when you tense up, when you start getting scared, you know, and that because tension equals constriction, right? Relaxation is freedom and looseness. Okay. And so I haven't learned to master that yet. All right. So, but I'm constantly learning. Let's see, just put it in my, oh, okay. I was telling him about Levi Clay doing tabs and stuff like that. And just letting him know that Levi does some awesome tablature work if he needs somebody to help him with that. He was just responding to that. Okay, so that's all the modules. They look like this, and you just click on the next one, and it'll show you the next video, and it'll give you the same kind of deals, the same resources and things that are mentioned below from what was mentioned from the actual video. You can favorite your favorite ones, so you can go back up here to your top and go to your favorite lessons, and it shows all those. You have an account here, and it's 8 weeks, and each week is held back until the next one until it arrives, so that you're never overwhelmed. You can always pace yourself. Don't feel like you got to rush ahead because you get to the point to where you're like, oh, I'm way behind. I've got to work on this now. Okay. So, yeah. So, and then after that, there's an ending here. And if you want to be a part of the ambassador program, which I am, you can ask him about that and he will unlock that access to you as well. All right. So that is how I practice. I know this was kind of like pushing 2 courses and everything, but I really feel that these have been game changers for me. They have helped me practice, and the proof is in the pudding. The things I was showing you earlier, if you go to Metal Crush, my song, you can see that fast lick I was able to do. And it was amazing to me that I pulled it off. I mean, once you can pull something off, once you can get to the point to where you're realizing you're doing things you've never been able to do before, sky's the limit, right? It's an endorphin high. It's a dopamine, whatever you want to call it. It just makes you feel so good, and you just want to keep working at it. That is, to me, the measure of a great guitar course, all right? And I've made guitar courses, okay? I've got 3 right now. I'm working on some more. But these 2 I definitely recommend if you're wanting to go to the next level and you're playing and you're already, kind of out of the basic woods, intermediate woods. You want to go a little bit more in your playing. You want to understand how music works. You want to understand how to analyze your own playing and get things right. You can't get much better than these 2 courses. All right. So once again, the links are below. If you use the one for Joshua's course, I've got you hooked up with a special bonus, which is, I'll go ahead and reveal that now. That is the actual tab pack for the full song of Metal Crush. Okay. I'm including that when you get this course so that you will have something to work on. That, you can take something from something I've created, real music, find an excerpt that you like, extract that, start working on that for a month. The other thing that I forgot to mention, let me just go back to this. And this is a game changer for sure. I've never seen this in any other course. And that is Module 4, gamification. I love how Joshua presents this. This is amazing. Look at this. Almost every video here is a favorite of mine. Think of this. If you're a gamer, if you're a video gamer and you play games, or even if you have apps and certain things like that, game on PC, or Facebook used to have games and things like that. One of the big things that happens and pumps you full of dopamine and makes you feel good about playing that game and it draws you in. A lot of times it's just a big sales pitch. Here, let's play certain game where you have to pay extra money to get these extra things, One of the big things that does that is the sense of achievement, of having achievements. I play Xbox One, and currently I'm working my way through Titanfall 2. Love Titanfall games. Oh, they're amazing. Love them. But I'm working my way to try to get to all these achievements. I'm trying to meet the challenges, trying to get all the different achievements that I like. And certain ones of those are just getting extra firearms, getting upgrades to my current firearms, extra ordinances and things like that. I could go on. But that level of that achievement, when you get that achievement, that makes you feel better. It makes you want to press on and get better. Okay. The motivation behind Joshua's course is ingenious. Okay. And what it is called gamification. He has a resource and it's a spreadsheet, and it calculates. I don't know how in the world he devised this. It just blows my mind. But it basically takes calculations and it helps you input, in your opinion, your progress that you made that day. You input all that information. And all that information, you can actually see your progress on the page. You write notes to yourself and you say, okay, here's how I'm doing this. I feel like this phrase could be a little bit better. I messed up the picking. Pay attention to this section next time you practice it. And each day you're filling out this log of how you've progressed. And you can see the results. That's like a game achievement. It's like getting that big win. And that small win equals big wins. So if you're getting these small wins, you're getting big wins, okay, in the long run. And so he makes that spreadsheet available for free. He could totally charge for this. And it just blows my mind. I think he's working on an app so that it'll be even easier to do this. And that would be awesome for me too, so I wouldn't have to fire up my computer every time. I just put my phone down and play and then enter my results there. But I don't want to show it to you because I want to give it away. But it is amazing. It is a game changer. It is next level stuff to help you progress in your guitar playing. When you start tracking what you're doing, and in this way, you can use technology as your aid. I know people that use a journal to track what they've done, and a lot of the great players became great because they've tracked everything that they've done. Steve Vai, he practiced 10-something hours a day. You can find his 10-hour workout, 30-hour workout even, and all that stuff. No doubt he would probably track that stuff. Even if he didn't, he knew what to work on so that he would hold himself accountable to it. I can't remember exactly because I haven't watched the video in a while, but back in March when I was talking to Marco and having lessons with him, I asked him what his practice routine was, what his, the way he did things. And it seems like he told me that he wrote things down to practice, or he would maybe make notes of what he did. Now, I interviewed Marco on my channel, and that's on this channel as well, the interview with Marco Sfolin. If I can think about it, if I can remember, I'll try to leave a card to that so you guys can watch this later. But I interviewed Marco, and he may have mentioned it there. I'm not sure. It's definitely worth watching, though, because it's amazing, amazing stuff from Marco there, Marco Sfolgi. Where was I going with this? Oh, tracking. Alfred Potter, he's a YouTube guitarist. He's a really good guitarist, too. I've got a few things from him. I've got some of his 40 licks sequences, I think is what it is. It's one of his products. I've been thinking about getting one of his modes. I think it's his modes book. He's got stuff, very affordable stuff, and he's a really good guitarist. But he has, on certain videos, he's talked about how he takes a journal and he writes down how far he's come, what he's worked on, how he felt. And this is kind of the same thing, only in spreadsheet form. So it's a lot easier to kind of see. It does all the calculations for you automatically. You just have to see it to believe it. I mean, just amazing. And every month, when you run out of the slots, because it's a monthly thing, you practice the same thing for a month, 4 different, things, extracts from your favorite solos. When the month runs out, you just email them, and they'll send you another one for free. Another completely blank template, so you can start working on it that month. And I found that really worked. I don't do that right now because I'm working on these, the John Bjork stuff, and I'm seeing the kind of results that's going on as I'm working on it. But if I ever find myself, the good thing about Joshua's course too is if I ever find myself slacking on John's course, I just go back to Guitar Acceleration, get that motivation, rewatch some of these modules, remind myself of what I'm learning, how to analyze any of my playing flaws, and then I'm motivated once again. I start tracking this stuff, and I'm like, dude, I'm ready to do this. So I just wanted to add that little extra thing at the end of this live stream. Sorry I haven't played a whole lot of guitar. What I really wanted to do was sit here and practice one of John's, little nailing the minor pentatonic sections here. But this may have seemed like a long sales video. Trust me, it's not, because I wanted to share these things with you that have actually impacted me. So I'm going to go back to the comments here. Frank Monster says, is this being recorded to listen to you later? Yes, it is being recorded. It is live streamed, and you can find it later on my YouTube channel on YouTube under Eric Beatty Creations. Okay. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Click the link or click the subscribe button, and make sure to click the notification bell so you can be notified of when live streams happen, when I release new videos, different things like that. So I'm going to come back another day and do an actual electric guitar practice. Okay, I know this was I wanted to do one today, but I hope you can see the passion and the excitement that I have in these two courses. They really, really have made a difference in my playing, and I know they will in yours if you check those out. The links are in the description below. Once again, the link to Guitar Acceleration. If you go to that one below, I'll throw in a free bonus of my complete song tabs, and I don't think it has backing tracks. It might. I don't know. But I know that all the tabs are there. Some of the tabs for the rhythm parts, the tabs for the solo parts, different things like that. It's the full shebang of my song Metal Crush. So you can get started right away on playing something and learning something while using Guitar Acceleration. And check out John's course as well. Both of these, highly, highly, highly recommend. Okay. Some last things here. I'm going to say I've got a couple other videos in the works. I just did a brand new bluegrass guitar video that I know you guys are going to like. And I think one of the previous videos that I did, I think it was the very last video that I did, was the what's in my guitar maintenance box. And I was reorganizing that, rethinking that. Well, I've got another video that I mentioned in that video about the guitar box, another guitar box that I've got. It's in my closet back here. I just rearranged it and kind of did the same thing that I did with the maintenance box. But I've got that in the works, so I'll get that edited and get that out. Hopefully next week will be the bluegrass video, bluegrass guitar video. And then maybe after that, we'll see. I don't know if I'll do the guitar box so close to that other one or not. Fall break's about to happen. We're about to go on vacation, and we're going to try not to do a whole lot of stuff, so I don't want to, overwhelm myself too much with different things. But I still want to keep producing content for you guys. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me go, and I've recently written an outro and an intro, so hopefully this don't sound too stiff, but I'm going to try to start incorporating these so I can get right to the point. I don't like to ramble because I've been called out for that many times here on YouTube about rambling. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like what you've seen, please be sure to subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified when I release new content here on my channel. Also, please be sure to check out any of the video cards or end screens that I may put on this video after it's released for additional resources related specifically to this topic or this subject. And don't forget to check out the video description for more great links and resources to help you regarding today's subject. And if you feel the need, please leave a comment, and share this video with your friends who might also benefit from this material. All right, so that's my little outro there. I hope you liked it. Hope it wasn't too scripted. But that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Please stay tuned because there's more great stuff happening coming ahead. Thanks so much for watching. Guys, you have a great day. God bless, and keep creating.